Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is blues artist Catfish Keith. Keith, welcome.
All right, Dennis. Thanks, buddy. Great to be here.
It's been a long time since we've talked. You live in Iowa City, but man, you are all over. I follow you on Facebook, and you and Penny literally just travel the world.
Well, we've been having fun doing it for many years. I'll be doing my 52nd tour of the UK and Ireland coming up in October and November, and we started going in 1992. And so a lot of great things have happened with my career of playing music, and it's been a cool honor to be able to do that.
Well, speaking of that, you are one of the most awarded blues artists that has ever called Iowa home, three-time Blues Blast Award winner. And I know that you're up for that again, and people can vote. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Six-time Blues Foundation Blues Music Award nominee, member of the Iowa Blues Hall of Fame. I think of you, your permanent home is in Iowa City, right? And that's where you live when you're on the road? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you were born in Indiana and then went to high school in Davenport. Am I getting that right?
That's right. Yeah, I was born in East Chicago, Indiana, and we moved to Davenport when I was about 6 years old. And so that's where I really did most of my growing up. And there was a lot of cool culture going on there at the time. And of course, it's where Bix Beiderbecke is from. And they later developed really famous blues festival that wasn't going on when I was a kid there, but I did get to see a lot of really cool performers that toured through there, like Elizabeth Cotten and Mike Seeger and Bill Monroe, and I opened for the Dillards and all kinds of fun stuff way back when I was in high school, really.
Yeah. Well, and before we get too much further, I should say that kind of the main purpose of our conversation today is you do have a concert coming up in Iowa City, and and a play. You don't really play in Iowa City that often, considering that's where you live, and it's at the James Theater this Saturday night.
Yeah, the Englert Theater. I played there last year, and they're putting on this show at the James, and the James is they used to be called the Riverside Theater years ago, and it's right on Gilbert and Market Street, and it's a cool theater, and I'm honored to be able to play there.
Freshly remodeled, and it is a perfect place to listen to music, definitely.
Yeah, I'm very excited and hope that all my buddies can come out.
So you specialize in the Resonator guitar, which is and the Resonator, that's an all metal guitar as opposed to
there's a few different iterations of it. I'll show you one that I got right here. This one's kind of the classic one that I use a lot. It's called a National Tricone, and it's a baritone guitar. Here, I'll show you the headstock too, the National. And so it's a steel body, so it's got a big, huge sound. So there's a lot in these kind of guitars, but they're not all metal. I have some wood-bodied ones too, but they have the Resonator cones inside, which was a real great modern invention back in the 1920s, about 100 years ago, and to make the guitar louder. And then the electric guitar was invented, and they kind of became sort of obsolete, but they had a big comeback. And it was always the kind of guitar that a lot of my heroes like Son House and Booker White, and there's so many great artists that play Resonator guitars, Nationals. And so it was always a dream of mine to get one. And when I was about 18, I got my first National, and so I've been having fun with that. And also I play acoustic guitars, and I wanted to show this one here. If you can see the headstock, it's a Santa Cruz guitar, and it's an acoustic guitar. And if you can see the little fish guy there, so it's my signature model. It's called the Catfish Special, and I'm real proud
of. Your Fishtail Records is your wholly owned record label.
Yeah, and I guess we didn't know it at the time, but we were on the cutting edge of being a DIY label, and So me and my wife Penny, we started that in 1990, and have since put out well, I have 21 albums out now, and I'm next week actually after I do the show at the James Theater, I'm going back in the recording studio and gonna work on my 22nd album, and excited to do that. And you know, it's one of my favorite things to do is to really dive in and you know, pick my 100 favorite songs and whittle it down to about 15 or 20 that I end up recording. And it's just one of my passions to do that and to keep the legacy going and making new albums. And it's always focused on the guitar kind of as its own orchestra. So it's mostly solo when I record, but there's everything in the guitar that there's bass and counterpoint and melody and rhythm and all those things are right in the guitar. And those were the kind of artists that really thrilled me when I was a kid, that could finger pick the guitar and make it sound like two or three guitars playing at the same time. So that was a real exciting style that I've continued to build over the years.
I would definitely call you definitely a blues roots musician. You not only do you play generally by yourself, but your style is really the original blues. Those, in the footsteps of those artists who
Right.
inspired you.
Yeah, it does. It literally really does go back 100 years, and kind of at the dawn, like when Blind Lemon Jefferson, he was kind of the first guy in about the mid 1920s, and the blues before that was more a small jazz ensemble with a female singer like Bessie Smith or Ma Rainey, and then when Blind Lemon Jefferson came along, he had a beautiful solo style, and his success kind of opened up the record companies to find more guys. And often they were men, but sometimes they were women, like Memphis Minnie and Sister Rosetta Tharpe. She did gospel, but she had that real beautiful ebullient style, and it was based on the national guitar too. So yeah, that's really the heart of where my music comes from. And when I was learning music in the early 70s, when I was first picking up guitar when I was about 10 or 11, I got excited. I loved these different kind of folk music artists, singer songwriters like Paul Simon and Gordon Lightfoot and Odetta. And then I started finding these old blues records like Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee. And then I got into Leo Kottke and all these artists where the sound of the guitar was like a giant thing, and the acoustic guitar. And so that's really been what my style has been based in forever. It's been really a blast, man.
Has your sound or your approach changed over the years?
I think it's just gotten deeper. Really, it's based in the same music that I was inspired by, but I keep, writing more songs, and it's sort of an endless treasure trove of music. All these old scratchy records. I just keep finding more and more that I want to do, and also when I get a song, it's not really, and I sort of recreate these songs, but they're really inspiration for me to really reinvent the song. And so they change. Sometimes they turn into fully original songs, but even when I'm doing a song by an artist, it will definitely turn out like me, something different than it first was, but definitely strongly inspired by those artists.
So when somebody goes to a Catfish Keith show, then they're going to hear some of your original songs, but then also they're going to hear some of these old scratchy ones that you found.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then as I went along as a young guy, I was just learning from records and seeing people play. But then when I got out onto the road after high school, I just made these journeys in this old car, and I'd go all around the country, and got to meet some really great blues singers. They're all gone now, but luckily I was alive at a time when there were some of the original old time blues singers that were still alive and still taking their music out there, like Johnny Shines and Jesse May Hemphill and Honey Boy Edwards and Henry Townsend. These were people that I knew from their albums. I mean, the real scratchy old records that we're talking about. And then I got to meet them in person and become friends. And so the connection there was not just from hearing records, but from getting to know the blues artists and the culture they came from. And that's really wonderful to be able to do that. And I guess I'm just old enough that I was able to take advantage of that first wave of blues singers that are almost Buddy Guy is still kicking around, but most of his contemporaries have passed, and he was the young guy on the scene at that time. So the people that he was studying, like with Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, and those guys are long gone. And the people that I studied with, like Honey Boy Edwards and Henry Townsend, they both lived to be like 96 or 97, and they just kept playing until they did their last gig. And so that's inspiring to me. So I'm 61, and but I feel like I'm just kind of getting started, and I just want to keep going as much as I can. And it's still very exciting for me to play, and I just know more people now, and I'm tickled when they can come out. So come on out to the James Theater.
Blues is a uniquely American art form, but you've made 52 tours of the UK. Talk to me a little bit about how people receive the music when you're in England and Ireland and places like that.
Well, there's a real between United States and the British Isles. There's a real kind of exchange and connection about blues. And that's been happening for a long time. And you've probably heard of the different 1960s and 70s rock bands that were inspired by blues, but like the Beatles and the Stones and Led Zeppelin and
the Rolling
artists.
Stones started off as a blues band. So
that's right.
So did Led Zeppelin.
So there's kind of a generation or two, my age and older, that really grew up with blues. And in the UK, there's a real tradition of people going out to see music, and you'd be surprised. Every little town and big towns, they have music in pubs and in village halls and in art centers, and blues music is really supported. So when we showed up there in 1992, I felt a real connection, because there were a lot of people there that were just as much into the scratchy old roots music as I was, and they loved the weird, strange, unique artists, and they loved Hawaiian music and old time country music, and just as much as that old blues and early jazz. So it was exciting. I felt like I came to a place where people really understood what I was doing. At the time, it almost seemed more so than in the United States, but now everything spreads so easily and by choice through the internet and social media. But so you can find anything now. Like when I was a kid, it was a real search to find this music. You'd have to, I'd find music in public libraries. Was a really good resource, but I'd also befriend record collectors and go to their houses and ask them if I could record their records. So I had a big boom box that had about 100 giant D batteries in it. But you could record with it had a cassette player that would record. So I'd go to their house and, would you, can we listen to your Barbecue Bob collection? And he'd say, yeah. And he'd put it on and we'd quietly listen while I taped it onto the boom box. So I had a great archive of music that I collected that way, just as a youngster driving around in the 1973 Oldsmobile. And so that now you just go to YouTube and search it, and it's all right there. But
thank God DRM didn't exist back then, or you wouldn't have had a career.
So it was a real search back then. It was a real search, but it was fruitful. And I didn't know, I thought I was probably the only person in the world that even cared about this music. But as we became more connected over the years, I find out there were quite a few people just like me that loved this music and had funky old guitars and were learning Blind Blake songs and all that good stuff. And so being able to connect with people that way has been a beautiful thing. So not only do I play the concerts, but I also do guitar workshops. So I teach the style of music too. And it's been very rewarding to do that. And as our own label, I wanted to do a little show and tell. This is my latest album called Still I Long to Roam. And I wanted to show the LP because it's beautiful.
Ooh, for those watching the video, sharp red vinyl.
Had to put your sunglasses on. And so we've been doing LPs as well. We've done 7 of the titles also in colored vinyl LP. So as well as the good old CD, and you can find the music anywhere. So it's been really wonderful to connect with people that way, and really it's been a person-to-person connection. So a lot of shows I'll go and we'll know half of the people by name, and it just happens that way. And but that's kind of how you have to do it with this sort of obscure corner of the music business. You have to connect personally, and but I love to do that, and it's a wonderful life to do that.
Catfish Keith performs at the James Theater Saturday, August 19th. It's presented by the Englert, but not at the Englert.
That's right. Yeah.
At the James Theater.
The James.
But tickets through englert.org, I assume.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, through the Englert website, are marketing the tickets, and I'm really tickled you all could be a sponsor, KCCK, and it just kind of fills my heart to be able to continue, and it's been fantastic. Thank you so much, Dennis.
It's always great to connect with you, Keith, and just as I said, I follow you on social media, and it's just I get to see where you're doing shows and what you all are doing, and it's just a joy to see you bringing this music out to such a wide audience. And it's great to have you at a kind of a rare hometown performance. So again, this Saturday night.
Well, yeah, we lost our favorite spot, which was the Mill, which closed down a few years ago. But we don't really have, we're working on finding a new home joint, but I love playing concerts, and the James Theater is a perfect venue for that. So I hope you all can come down.
Yep, it's at the James Theater this Saturday night. Tickets at englert.org, and more information on the Englert website as well. Where can people find you online, Keith?
Oh, it's at www.catfishkeith.com. That's catfish, KEITH.com. And the whole world is there. There's tour dates. You can, the store is there. You can buy all the goodies, CDs and books and slides and guitars and everything. And it's that's where you can find me. And also, if you wanted to vote for me, the deadline is coming up on Friday, but it's with Blues Blast magazine. So it's www.bluesblast bluesblastmagazine.com/vote. And anybody can vote. It's free to do that. And it's wonderful because it's the voice of the people saying, all right, yeah.
bluesblastmagazine.com/vote. I'll put that put that link in the show notes too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And and if you're listening on the radio today, I encourage you to go find the video out online, because you can see the stuff that the guitars that Keith showed us, and the cool red vinyl of the latest album, which I'm sure will also be on sale at the show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. All right.
Keith, good luck with it. Always great to talk to you, and stay in touch. Have a good show this weekend, and we'll see you again soon.
All right. Thank you, my buddy. All right. Take care.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture or your favorite podcast player. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.